Hi, so today we'll be doing this Laplace transform problem. So first I'm going to write down what steps we're going to be going through. So our first step is to take the Laplace transform of this equation that we're given, and we're also given these two initial conditions. And then next, what we'll be doing is doing the partial fraction decomposition. And then once we do that, we'll be taking the inverse Laplace. And then the last step will just be checking our work. So to check our work, first we'll be applying the initial conditions and making sure that those look good and that they check out. And then what we'll also be doing is checking the equation that we find and plugging that back into our original equation. So let's get started on this problem. So first we're going to take the Laplace. So what we'll get is x squared xs minus s x 0 minus x dot 0 plus 14 s x s minus x 0 plus 49 xs equals 10 over s. So this is what we get when we do the Laplace, and immediately we can put in our initial conditions that were given. So we know x0, this is 0, x dot, this is 1, this is 0. So we can rewrite that again. So s squared xs minus, actually that's 0, so we can ignore that part. So minus 1, which is this term right here, plus 14 s xs plus 49 xs equals 10 over s. So now we just want to arrange this so we get xs on one side and everything else on the other side. So this is just basic algebra, and what you'll end up with is xs equals 10 plus s over s times s plus 7 squared. So now what we want to do, so this was step 1. Now we want to do step 2. I'll start it over here. Step 2. So we're doing the partial fraction decomp. So what we'll end up with is 10 plus s. And then we can write it out. So a over s plus b over s plus 7 squared. And then s plus 7. So now what we want to do is find each coefficient. For this, what you do is you take this denominator right here and you multiply both sides by that. So I just do this. And then on the other side too. And then, so what you'll end up with is this canceling here. So 10 plus s equals, and then I'll multiply each of these by this term. So a s plus 7 squared plus b s plus c s plus 7. So next what we want to do is cancel out different terms of this equation so that we can find coefficients. So immediately we see that we have this s plus 7. So if we set s equal to negative 7, then this will equal 0. So let's do that. So s equals negative 7. and then we'll just rewrite the equation subbing in that s. So we'll get 10 minus 7 equals, and then this will become negative 7 plus 7, 0. So this whole a term will cancel out. So we can do, I'll just write 0 as a placeholder, plus b times negative 7. And then this also has that s plus 7 term, so this will also cancel out. So we can just add a 0 just to indicate that. So then we'll end up with 3 equals negative 7b. So then we get b equals 3 over negative 7. So what I'm seeing now is if we set s equal to 0, it'll cancel out the b term. So let's do that. S equals 0. So then we end up with 10 equals 7 squared a plus 0 plus 0 again, because that c is multiplied by s. So then what we'll end up with is a equals 10 over 49. So now the last one is a little trickier. We want to find c, but we also know that if we use negative 7, it'll cancel out both a and c. You can kind of look at it here and just pick whatever number you think is the easiest. So for this, what I am going to end up doing is s equals negative 6, because in my brain, that will set this term, s plus 7, equal to 1. So I'm going to do that out now. So 10 minus 6 equals a, and then you have negative 6 plus 7 squared plus b times negative 6 plus c times negative 6 plus 7. There we are. And so we'll end up with 4 equals, and then 7 minus 6, or negative 6 plus 7, is 1, so it'll just be a minus 6b, and then negative 6c. And so we already found a and b, so we can plug those in now. So 4 equals 1049 minus 6, 3, negative 7, minus 6c. And then just doing out the algebra, we'll find that c equals negative 10 over 49. So now we have all of our coefficients, so we're ready for the next step. So now that I have our equation that we found earlier and then the coefficients that we found, we can just plug the coefficients in. So we have a 10 over 49 over s, and I'm just writing it this way because it'll make it easier to look at the Laplace table. So then we have plus negative 3, 7, s plus 7 squared plus negative 10, 49, s plus 7. And so this is xs. When you're taking a math course, your professor will likely give you whatever Laplace table that they made, but if you Google Laplace table, it'll always be the same. So what we'll do is look at each of these terms that we have, and we'll see what the equivalent is when we take the inverse Laplace. So what this does also is you can look at it term by term, like I said. So this is the equivalent of taking inverse Laplace 1049s plus inverse Laplace negative 3 over 7 s plus 7 squared plus inverse Laplace negative 1049 s plus 7. And so when you look at that table, what you'll end up with is 10 over 49 minus 3, 7, 1 over 2 minus 1 factorial, t 2 minus 1 e negative 7t minus 10 over 49 e negative 7t. So this is what xt is, and we can rewrite this to get xt equals negative 10 over 49, and I'm just reordering the terms, e minus 7t minus 3 over 7 t e negative 7t plus 10 over 49. So this is our answer for xt. And so now all we have left is the last step, step 4, is to check. So first of all, we'll do the initial conditions. So we know that x0 equals 0, and we were also given that x dot 0 equals 1. So now we're just going to plug this into our xt equation. So first I'm going to start with x0. So we have negative 10 over 49 e, and then anything times 0, 0, so e0, minus 3, 7, 0, e negative 7, 0, plus 10 over 49. And so this is multiplied by 0, this will cancel. E to the 0 power is just 1. And so we end up with negative 10 over 49 plus 10 over 49, which is just 0. So this checks out. Now it's time to do x dot. So when you take the derivative of xt in terms of t, you end up with 70 over 49 e negative 7t minus 3 over 7 t negative 7e to the negative 7t plus e negative 7t. And then the last term, you just end up with 0. So now we can just rewrite this. And we get 10 over 7 e to the negative 7t plus 3t e negative 7t minus 3 over 7 e negative 7t. So remember, we're plugging in our initial conditions. And so when we plug this in, we get 10 over 7 e to 0 plus 0, because we have this t term that will just multiply and make everything 0. And then minus 3 over 7 e to 0. And so remember, e to the 0 power is just 1. So we end up with 10 over 7 minus 3 over 7, which equals 7 over 7, which equals 1. So this checks out. So our last check that we need to do is the equation. We already found x dot over here. We just need to find x dot dot now. When we take that derivative, we get 3t negative 7e negative 7t plus e negative 7t plus 3e negative 7t minus 10e negative 7t. And then when we simplify this, we get negative 21 t e negative 7t minus 4e negative 7t. So now that we have x dot and x dot dot, we just need to take this and sub it into the original equation. So we have negative 21t e negative 7t minus 4e negative 7t plus 14 10 over 7e negative 7t plus 3te negative 7t minus 37e negative 7t. Oh, it looks like I erased this a little bit. This is a 49x. So then we have plus 49. And then for the x, we're just plugging in what we found for xt, which is 10 over 49 minus 3 over 7 t e negative 7t minus 10 over 49 e negative 7t. And then this is all equal to 10. We can start doing this out. So I'm just going to distribute everything right now. Negative 21t e negative 7t minus 4e negative 7t plus 42t e negative 7t plus 14e negative 7t plus 10 minus 21t e negative 7t minus 10e negative 7t, and this is all equal to 10. And so now we can just look at the terms we have. So let's start with the ones that have a t in it. So te negative 7t. We have this one, we have the 42, and we have the negative 21. So 42 minus 21 is 0. So those terms we know cancel out. Next, we'll look at the e negative 7t terms. So we have these three. So 14 minus 4 minus 10, that's 0. So then what we end up with is 10 equals 10. Sorry, there should be a 10 over here. And this checks out. So now we have checked this. So we have our xt solution already, which is what we were asked for. And then checking our solution, we check the initial conditions, both of them. And then we also checked the equation. So this is correct. And I hope this helped.